Chelsea blue. I'm Chelsea.
Hello there, I'm Jonathan Kidd, this is Gary Davison, and welcome to Chelsea Blue, which is the second edition where we talk about the games, a bit of rumour and transfers, whatever happening with all things Chelsea. So, Gary, quick run through the Friday game versus West Ham, which I thought we did rather well, didn't we?
We did. Hi, JK. Hi, everyone. It was what would one describe it as? A pleasant Friday evening down at the Olympic Stadium, to say the least. Yeah, we did. I mean, we were a bit sloppy in the first 10 minutes, I would suggest. And that was a combination. Obviously, the Palmer situation didn't help them. And I'm sure they came in slightly unsure of what they were doing. It didn't take them long to sort it out. But in that period, Stavia did what you'd expect an 18-year-old potentially brilliant player to do. He tried to flick too much, except it was too early. Hence, we stood off him. We left him with so much time on the ball.
We seemed to be very slow, didn't we, at the beginning? Same with Sanchez was very, very slow. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he was at fault, but looking at the goal, I mean, a couple of times, I mean, he was on his wrong. Weight was on one foot, and he didn't transfer it quick enough. He used the wrong hand, but also the ball swerved a lot. And I did hear that. I don't know if you heard that there was a comment saying this new ball and this ball is swerving more than last season. But I think 10 minutes after that, we were back in gear. I like the corner. I love the fact that we actually had a worked out routine with that, which was rather nice. And it was again, Cucurella doing a clever flick. And also, interestingly enough, João Pedro, it's lovely to see somebody who was good in the air as well as a striker.
He seems to have a lot of skills, doesn't he, João Pedro?
He does. I mean, he got up very well. It's a good header, but he's also generally good in the end. Scored some goals for Brighton with his head. So he's actually very useful in that area as well.
Work out where he would have played if Parker had actually started.
I think if you looked at that the way that I would have supposed he would have played, Pedro would have played on the left because you'd assume then Cole would be at number 10.
Neto have played on the right.
Neto would play on the right. Yeah, and Talat would have played as number 9.
Right.
That's what I think.
He can play left winger, but I presume
he can play left winger.
I presume we're going to see this pattern. Whether he does play left winger, I don't know, because he seems to be very good at getting into.
Well, I mean, remember Ruska did say in a previous press conference, he asked where he's going to play. He said he plays everywhere in the front line. He said from left wing to number 10 to number 9. So he's got a variety, which is incredibly useful to have that because he can switch.
You think we won because West Ham was so terrible?
Well, I think the combination of things. I think they were very up for it at the beginning, so they were actually in it for that 10 minutes before we equalised. The second goal, which was they were celebrating as if they'd won the League Cup double.
When the offside goal went in,
it was like I mean
they were going to win 5-1. The joy that they experienced with that, putting one over against Chelsea as always, they really
absolutely. So I think that deflated them, and I think our second goal, which was very nifty, well worked, again a lovely finish from Neto, who's scoring goals, which is lovely to see as well, isn't it? I mean, he looks like the winger that we thought we bought from Wolves last season.
Wonderful game.
He did.
Neto's looking better and better.
Ever since the Club World Cup.
Never stops running. Really, the energy
and he's taking on people, which is nice.
Yeah, and also defensive work is fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was great. The third goal, which I think was the one that sealed it, was just. And also, we have to remember Delap, although he didn't score, very impressive with the way he held the ball up. The way he made it off.
Good goal. He flicked it. On more than one occasion. I'm very impressed with Delap, I think.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he wants a goal and he needs to score, but he's very good at holding the ball up. And the run from Stavia was, he ran in the box. The only thing I would give him the biggest compliment for me, he ran in the box hazard-like for me, in terms of the pace when he ran with the ball.
Intriguing.
Went past the defenders and then put in a pinpoint ball that, Fernandez was there not to miss it. But it was a very, very exciting run into the box, the way he ran and sped up. I like it when somebody speeds up into the box. Yeah. And then that was the game over, I think, really, at that point. Second half, West Ham didn't really know what to do. Couldn't defend at corners. Felt sorry for the goalkeeper a little bit, because he obviously completely lost it at that point. Those goalkeepers that sort of seemed dominated by the ball, not the other way around.
Yes.
So the ball comes in and he's sort of flapping before he gets to it.
I thought the Hammers played better once Callum Wilson came on, actually, with the guy Potts. They got, was it Steve Potts' son played? I thought the subs actually put us under
Yeah,
pressure.
they did. I think we took our foot off the pedal.
I really would have preferred it if he'd gone for it till about 70 minutes rather than at 55 to 60.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think the combination is
Three
that the
more,
players themselves seem to
8-1,
copy that.
8-1 would have left a great message to people,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
anyway, we still should have scored a couple even when the subs came on. But
Yeah, there was one. Wasn't there one that Stavia missed,
there
which
was a
was
wonderful pass from James came on,
beautiful ball. Yes,
split the
absolutely.
defence, absolutely
And he
brilliant.
ran with the ball well, but he ran past one extra defender he didn't need to run past.
He did.
And he shot early, he would have scored.
I do wish that, and I know they're managing James, but James is such a good player.
Oh,
He's
he's fantastic. I think the management of James though is actually benefiting because we're getting more goals.
benefited him. It just is you. It's a shame that your best fullback
Mm.
isn't starting the game and comes on with 20 minutes to go. I liked Fofana's haircut, um,
Yeah,
and the
I couldn't miss him, could you? You
well,
didn't miss him.
yeah, it's right in the gloom. Well, particularly from the distance, I kept saying, "Who? Oh, there he is! You can see him." But I wasn't quite sure it was initially. But it must be
Yeah.
Fofana because James is next to him. But I was taken back to Chelsea playing Sheffield Wednesday at Hillsborough in the FA Cup. I think it was about the fifth round when Bobby Di Matteo came on
Yes.
with a blonde hairstyle. I think
So I remember that.
they were
Yes.
both at that game. I think
Yes, absolutely. I remember that. Yes.
together.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and everybody said, "Who's that? Who's that player?" Then, and I remember saying, "It's Di Matteo," and they went, "No, it's not. It can't be. He doesn't have
Yeah.
blonde hair. So he's dyed his hair." Listen, we
Early days.
better talk about what's going to happen against Fulham. What do you reckon?
Hmm. Well, I'd like to think that, carrying on from where we are and at home, we continue to play. I'd like, and in a way, to see Delap and Pedro start again.
Well, if Palmer's okay, which I think he was just it was
Well,
precaution.
there's different stories. He's supposed to be having a scan this week.
Oh, is he as well? We'll see.
There's one thought that he might be okay, and the other one is that he might have a few weeks out. Not too long because the groin issue is continuing to bother him. So we'll probably find out more.
It's a groin, is it? I didn't know
The
that.
groin problem, yeah. But and apparently Maresca said he'd had it for the last 4 or 5 days before the game. Got worse on match on
Yes, yes.
So I think depends if Palmer's fit. But if he's not, I mean, yeah, maybe start with the same
The same
front
setup.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't. I think James, well, given the way he seems to be looking at James playing some games and then giving a rest, James may start on Saturday.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bet.
Because Gusto is, isn't the same player.
So he's not. I mean, he's not inverting. That
He's still
helps.
pretty good, but it's not we're not. It's a different standard from Gusto.
Yeah,
Now I watched the Fulham Man United game, and it was same old Fulham as last season, really. So,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
um,
I
I
mean, they're tricky. They can be dangerous as
yeah
well
yeah
and break.
they can.
So I think I'd like to think. So, I mean, I think if we play with the sort of, the intensity that we had for the game before 65 minutes and after 6 minutes, keep that going through the match.
Yeah.
We should win.
We've got some great attacking players, and
Absolutely. Yeah.
the defense is pretty competent, particularly Cucurella and Caicedo.
Well, I think yes. I think the back. I mean,
A couple of brilliant players, those two. Yeah.
yes, absolutely. We've got two, and also I think Tosin is a very good, safe player
Yeah.
as well, and sort of slightly leader as well. He's got that leader-like sort of. You can see him watching. He's looking up and he's looking around the players around him, and he's sort of encouraging, which I like to see. So that helps as well. Yeah, I think if we can keeping standards up, we've got to play every week with an intensity. We can't do is sort of think we can go into games and stroll through because you can't.
Well, you're going to get intensity from Caicedo. You're going to get the intensity from Cucurella every game.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
Give me a number.
Well, considering I said 2-1, then thought 3-1 at West Ham, and we were sort of 5-1, I'll go again with a 2-1, possibly a 3-1, and who knows? 2-1. What about you?
Okay. I'll
You?
say 4-0.
Right.
I'm
Well,
I'm Mr. Positive at the moment.
absolutely. Well, 4-0 or 3-1, at least both of them are wins. That's the most important thing.
And what's the transfer rumor mill?
Well, there's a lot of stories today of which some have been saying yes and there's denials, but we are supposed to, according to a couple of Spanish links, be in for the Barcelona forward Fernan Lopez, who is a young sort of quasi number 10 who played He's a youth academy player. Came through last season and played a lot of games for them.
Is
Scored about 8 goals.
another Gui?
No, he's an attacking midfield player.
Who is he?
What he is good at, I've noticed because I saw some clips of him. Very good in the air. Scored 3 or 4 very good headed goals as well.
Hmm.
So, but that having said that's coming out of a couple of Spanish players. It's then been denied, saying from another source saying there's been no talk at all about that.
Right.
So you take that. I mean, it sounds like the two that we're looking at, as we've always had, which is Garnacho and Javi Simmons from Leipzig.
Yeah.
And I think it's still about what we do and what deals we get for Jackson, Disasi, and Nkunku.
Nkunku, yes.
Who are three they're looking at. I mean,
And Sterling, nobody's bitten for Sterling.
well, I mean, because Egbali was at Fulham was at West Ham on Friday. They're thinking, oh well, he's in town to do a deal with. No, sorry, he was at Fulham. Sorry, on Sunday. I think maybe we're going to do a deal with Fulham for Sterling because there was a link with him.
A rumor about that earlier on, yeah.
Yeah. I think the problem with Sterling and Chilwell is salary, really, isn't it? I mean, I think Chelsea would, if they get something to pay a good amount of the salary, they'd take it like a shot, I would have thought.
It'd be nice if Chilwell couldn't find anywhere to be loaned to, so consequently was hanging around the club, and then suddenly there was a whole series of injuries and found himself back in the team.
Well,
And
yeah.
lo and behold, actually plays quite well because he's a very good player.
Yeah, what worried me about Chilwell a bit is why he didn't do better at Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
He didn't really get many games, and Glasner's a good coach, so he must have seen something. It may just simply he hadn't played, so maybe that was the issue. But
Yeah,
I don't know. But it was a little bit concerning. But I agree. Yeah, I mean that can happen. But I think Jackson will go somewhere. My bet it would be on a loan with an obligation to buy from somebody. And Nkunku may end up with the same thing because obligations apparently do count in terms of as a transfer fee coming in, so they can put it down as a confirmation of the deal. Although the Jadon Sancho thing was a very unusual clause we put in saying that we paid 5 million. We didn't want to continue with the deal. Most of those deals with obligations are fixed obligations. So that's interesting. So I think it'll be as everything. Could it be a Friday, Saturday, or Monday night rush? We'll end up with 2 or 3 of them on the move and a couple coming in.
And no centre half.
No, clearly that little battle, whatever you want to call it, or little Maresca sort of stand-up was put down quite quickly.
Because he then denied he'd ever said it.
I never said that. Well, no. Well,
said before, it's being done internally.
yes. Which he also, but first he did say internally, but also we would look outside. But no, I think they're, and I guess if you've got Fofana staying fit, and that's the key, and you've got Badiashile coming back,
yeah,
we probably have got enough. Whether they're of the quality we need to play the ball from the back, which is what he wants, I don't know.
I never felt that Badiashile was terrific at passing out.
No, he's not. I mean, Tosin is good at that. Fofana clearly is good at that. So I don't know. So, but I suspect there's a financial. I think we probably couldn't afford to buy.
But also, I feel Fofana is the alternative, and if they can stop him from being injured,
that's the key. If they can manage him the way they managed James, we'll be fine. But so I think that would be. I would think by deadline that something like that will happen. Of course, the only other possibility, which you never know with these deadlines, is whether they go in and suddenly do a curveball in the last 2 days.
Indeed.
While I'm thinking about that is, do Villa want to go in for Jackson, which apparently they're linked to, can't afford him? And if that was to happen, would Morgan Rogers become available? Because there's stories saying Spurs are after Rogers and have been told that for the right price, he is gettable. Don't know.
Wow.
Don't know. But we certainly want him. So that's another.
He's a real class act, Rogers.
Yeah, that would be a real curveball, but it's not impossible.
No, indeed. Well, you never know what happens in the transfer windows. Think all these strange deals.
Now, did you see the story about Eze, that how he got the Arsenal and he rang up Arteta?
You rang him up, did he?
On the day that he had the medical at Spurs, or the final things about him, he rang him up that evening and sort of must have said something like, "Oh, well, yeah.
Are you interested in me, Dim?"
Yeah, something of that like, I mean, I like Arsenal, and that was right after the injury to Havertz was confirmed.
Yes, so the timing was perfect.
Well, probably these deals are done very simply, aren't they? Really, at the end of it. I'd like to come to you.
Royal Medweke, though. And I watched.
Well, you'll get what you'll get now. You'll get a run of games, at least 4 or 5, while Saka's injured on the right wing.
Yeah, yeah,
Right? And what I saw him on the left, he was, as we know him, he was exactly the same.
same, yeah.
So I don't know, but I think he'll play a few games. But Saka's going to come back and go straight back to right wing.
Mind
So
you, I could had a hamstring injury. It may take several weeks, so we'll.
well, they're saying 6 weeks. They're saying it's not as severe as the one that put him out 3 months last season. But I mean, there's no comparison between Saka and Madueke.
No,
One is a great winger. One is
one is Madueke.
Gittings. I think has a lot of touches of Madueke, but hopefully he's a little bit. I think there's a bit more to him, but we just haven't seen it yet.
Well, I think that's why they bought him, because his stats were sufficiently
Yeah, I mean, he
better.
hasn't.
So I think also I don't think Maresca could bear Madueke's personality.
No, I don't think so. No, I think also he just sort of realised that what he doesn't like clearly is a player that's one game up for it, and the next game you don't see him at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is what we got from Madueke. Yeah.
So I think he's not going to accept that anymore from anybody. So I think listen, there's no doubt that we have so many more options than we had last season in going forward completely, and more options for goals. So my thinking, if that's the case, and we can defend as well as we did last season, we had the third best defence last season. We can keep to that, then we're going to be in a challenging position for everything.
Well, as I said last week, we appear to have solved the problem that we had, which was to actually buy a couple of strikers.
Yeah,
Which we
wasn't rocket science, was it? Really?
For 3 years, 4 years. We need somebody to put the ball in the net, please. Can we do that?
No, and I think
goals that we were creating, we were saying, oh, they create chance after chance, but nobody puts the ball in the net. Ooh, what a surprise. Suddenly let's turn up. Both of them can put the ball in the net. Oh, yeah.
Exactly. I see the sporting directors have been given new extended contracts.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised with the successful season they had, despite it being in the middle, possibly some of the worst football.
Well, although it has been interestingly sort of put out in the media that they've got extended contracts, but they haven't got salary rises. I don't know why they've said that, but that's what's been reported, that they've got extensions to their existing deals, basically.
That seems very peculiar. So they're almost saying, we don't want you to stay. We're going to offer you a contract, but not give you the money. Well,
we'd like you to stay, but just you want enough money already, so we're not going to increase it. Or maybe there's incentives. I mean, I find that strange. There must be something.
Sense at all, is it? You knew something. So even though you've won 2 trophies, we're not going to actually improve the.
I would imagine they're incentivized clauses the way the players are. I think is when you win something or you qualify for Champions League, you get extra bonuses. So, but and also the other story is interesting. Do you remember Steve Atkins?
Yes.
Back at Chelsea.
Back at Chelsea, he was the.
He was the communications director.
He was the
one.
one.
He ended up going to some quite political jobs. He's now just been announced as coming back as the sort of slightly higher role than he had before, some sort of interim between the owners and the sporting directors, and some sort of different job. Because he's quite a
press officer before, if I remember.
He was, yes, he was. So he's back. So I think they're clearly trying to get everything else running more smoothly as well.
So tell me about the boy who scored for Liverpool on Monday.
Yeah, well, I actually can't pronounce his name. Is he Rio? And
Show I can't.
Yeah, shoot, I think it was. Well, what's supposed to happen? He was from the age of 8, he was at the Chelsea Academy. And there's a rule that allows all clubs to effectively bring up an opposition club and say, we want to come down to a training ground and see your academy, which everybody's allowed to do. And you have to give them 48 hours notice. And Liverpool apparently did that. Came down, and he was reckoned to be the best, if not the best, close to the best of that young group of players. So obviously what they saw, they liked. Because clearly after that, he decided he didn't want to stay at Chelsea. They made him an offer, and off he went. And there was currently a tribunal case going on between Chelsea and Liverpool for Chelsea asking for a settlement.
He went on the pre-season tour and scored a couple of goals for them.
Yes, I think so. Yes,
scored a cracking goal on.
Yeah,
blimey.
Yeah, I mean, he's a player. And we know it's 16 or 17 these days, and we've seen it from Estavia. If they've got they can see the game ahead of them. That's what makes them special. Given they've got to have the skill, but they've also got the vision to understand where they should be. There's a lot of 16 and 17-year-olds have got talent, but they don't actually necessarily know why should they, how the game plays out on the pitch, where they should be at top level. He does. He seemed to know that. He seemed to be in the right spot. Took it very calmly and very well. So I think that's, I mean, it may only be if there's a settlement, Chelsea win, they get a few million for him, but that's all. But, it's something. And I think,
having looked after him for 8 years, it's paid for his eight.
yeah, but I think it happens to all clubs. I think we've done that from other clubs as well.
No, but I rather like the fact that it means that they're creating terrific players, and so
Yeah,
that the successes from the academy, Livramento and Mark Gueye from Crystal Palace, for
yeah,
example, are really top-notch players who are playing for England. And
absolutely. I mean, and also just shows you that there's a story that Conor Gallagher, Crystal Palace are after Gallagher,
yeah,
which, again, may happen. I mean, I think Atletico has been, though he's played, he hasn't really been a big piece of it.
they call him the pit bull, don't they?
Yes, yeah. But I don't think Simeone sort of thinks he knows he can trust him to do a certain job, but that level of being slightly bit more creative, which
Yeah.
is not really.
He never particularly had. I mean, that you can see that's why they got rid of him.
Yes,
'Cause
they saw the limitations of
he
what he would do.
huge effort and unbelievably
Yes,
um, swift in the tackle and pursued and energy and
yeah,
inspirational effort.
yes.
Um, as a creative player, never quite what they wanted in midfield.
No, and that's why even when he's played for England, he doesn't. I mean, he has played and he's done well, but he doesn't seem to be rated as a sort of a key player to go to because he doesn't have that slightly extra creativity. But he'll do a good job someday. So you may well see him back at Palace or something like that. So I think it's the next few days of who knows what's going to happen. Curveballs, long balls, short transfer activity, smart transfer activity. What they're doing, why they're doing that. Will go on in every club. But I would like to think that we can bring a couple of options in up front. Just the Palmer injury is an example of we need to have a little extra cover, creativity wise, and definitely other options left wing as well.
Intrigued to see, was it Ugochukwu was at Burnley?
Yes, yes.
That slipped past me, and I know that
Oh,
Chukwuemeka.
Burnley signed him, and they also signed Broja.
That's right, they signed them both. Yes, of
I
course.
think we ended up with about 35 million from them. Very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, extraordinary is that we are now apparently over 270 million in sales of players.
Yeah.
We have to get to the point where we're actually in profit, so we're allowed to register these players.
Thing is, all the players that we were slightly dubious about when we were watching. I do like this as the fact that we watch all the games is we say he's not very good, he's not good
Yeah,
enough. I don't know why he's playing, and
yeah.
then at the end of the season, you think, oh, they agree with us because they've got rid of them all. So
I think yes, actually, I think over the last two seasons, I know you've been talking about this because I remember you talking about this last season, that we had too many average players who were players that were we said they're quite good, but quite good is not good enough for Chelsea. No, it has been.
thing of constantly saying they're getting give them a chance,
Yeah,
get a bit better. And I always think, no, this isn't Division Two. This isn't
no,
1975.
yeah,
This is a completely different era where we've won the European Cup twice, the Champions League twice, and we've won the league, and
yeah.
now we're champions of the world. We do not say, he might get better, give him a chance. I said
No.
that doesn't apply.
Top players come in, hit the ball running, and off they go.
And it's
Which we've done more this season than we have done in the last 3 or 4 years. So I think they've got that message as well.
around running. You just have to. And this is why I think I found it very difficult to watch the last two seasons when I felt there were too many players playing who
Yeah.
wondered what the choices of the sporting directors were. I didn't understand why.
I mean, I had this debate with, well, as you probably know, we talked about it with Eddie, and also people saying, and they were saying, well, we've got good players. And I found myself saying, well, we haven't really.
No.
We've got, Cucurella, who suddenly turned into a great player, Caicedo, Palmer. And I kept saying, name me the other great players that we've got. And they'd say, well, Badishi's not bad. I mean, yeah. And I thought,
Say
that's not enough.
But to be fair, Colwell has evolved into somebody
He's
who
got but he was always looked at as a top young player. He just got better.
got better, absolutely.
So I think all that sort of
And Neto similarly he was an interesting signing, but
well, we all said he's a good signing.
said he was the best signing that they'd done.
Yes.
He's now become what we saw at Wolves, but
Yeah.
also
It took him 3 quarters last season, and that's fair enough. But even then, in games, he looked very good last season at times.
yes, he did. No, there was some very good, and also the goal against Fulham was one of the
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the other way, the other player I should add to the transfers out is Tyreek George.
yes, who may be going. Absolutely,
Well, there seems to be talk that he wants a permanent move
really
rather than a loan.
surprised me because they bought Gittins and they're
Yeah.
talking.
And they've got
And then
Estavio. How's he going to get in the team?
and Estavio is clearly I'm
Yeah.
afraid is a class above.
Yes. Yes. So, and also remember, if we do sell him, that's pure profit. So that's a big deal for
Yeah,
Chelsea.
yeah.
So, there's a lot of interesting sort of puzzles going on here now. But I think the sporting directors, to be fair to them, not that I particularly want to be fair to them because of what they've been doing, but in the last month, they've got their act together. They've realised, whether the club have realised, the owners or Maresca, who has to take credit for this as well, that we needed better players.
Perhaps there was a cunning plan and they knew all along and they were doing what we were doing, which was thinking, well, he's a bit shit and he's a bit shit
Yeah, well, I'm sure there was. Yeah, I'm sure there was.
for a bit until well, that's my big thing was I kept thinking they run via stats. They must be getting all the stats from the players and noticing who is not who is losing the ball, who is not providing the proper passes, who is
Yeah,
who isn't up to it. Sure,
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, the difference was we would moan about it, and they'd probably say we just lost 30 million quid on that one, or
we're
40 million. You know.
just looking at the game from what we see and we notice that players aren't good enough. We know
Yeah,
not good enough. He's
yeah.
he's not good enough. We have that thing. We're willing to give them a chance. We're willing
We
to.
would give them a chance. Yeah. If you watch football a long time, and as we have, and other people around us have, it's. I think fairly early on whether somebody's got a good touch, whether they can see a pass, whether they can do the things that you have to do. You have to give them time, obviously, to build, but relatively on if they're potentially a good footballer and somebody that can
Yeah,
dictate games. If they haven't got that, I mean, Tyreek George, I think, for example, is a very good young footballer. And
absolutely.
he's got all the time, but what he doesn't have, he's not, to me, he doesn't have that little extra magic that you would tell fairly quickly. And the way he beats a player, the way he's looking to beat the player rather than cut inside or backwards. And that's, I could be wrong. It could end up to be fantastic where he goes now, but he doesn't seem to have that slightly extra touch that makes. And when Robin came on the first time we saw him, we knew what that player was.
Yeah.
You knew it. And I think with Estavio that he's
Was
young, he can make mistakes, but he's got it.
was the same.
Yeah, he's got it.
Yeah.
And Palmer saw that immediately as well, because every time first time they played together, they were looking for each other from the first minute of kickoff. So I hope everything is encouraging. Let's hope it stays that way.
Good. Well, we
Yeah,
don't know much about the Fulham game, but I'm looking for a win. Obviously, I think we need to keep the momentum going. Uh,
absolutely.
and then we've got is it Brentford after that? Is that
Brentford is after the international break, yeah, which is also a game that, Brentford going to Brentford last year was a toughie.
well, no, he took a lot of people off, didn't he? For they didn't play them last year. He was
Yes, I mean this Brentford side
best.
will still be tough. I'm sure they'll be tough to beat, but they haven't got.
Some of the other they're not, despite Buemo going and Wussa not wanting to play anymore,
Hmm.
and losing the midfielder to Arsenal,
Yeah.
they still look pretty good. They've
They
got
are. I just think what they don't have is that extra touch that the strikers gave them last season. But we'll find out. But I think it won't be an easy game.
side and very well organised. Just they just maintain the same pattern
Yeah,
of
yeah. I mean, well, Andrew's obviously worked under Frank, so he's kept the same system going, I would assume.
and Frank, of course, has completely hit the ground running. Blimey.
Yeah, I mean, Spurs is a tricky one. I mean, everybody's talking about it's the Spurs midfield that's doing it now with their 3 men in midfield that is playing, which nullified City, but they beat City last season as well, so that doesn't necessarily
It's Romero and
head it back to Van de Velde.
yeah, Madova, who are now available and are now put together rather a decent partnership.
Yeah,
So
they are. I mean, Spurs are. Let's hope they are still Spurs and they're unpredictable. But Frank's a good manager. I mean, he knows
Very
how
good.
to make a team competitive, I should say.
He almost became manager instead of Maresca, didn't he?
Well, he was on that list, but I don't think he.
As was Luis Enrique.
Well, yeah, I mean, Luis Enrique's story goes that there was, but then there's a story saying he pulled him, he didn't want to continue, didn't want to be considered, and other people saying, well, he did want to continue to be considered. But so you never really know the truth. But Maresca certainly ticked all the buttons for him because he obviously said everything they wanted to hear. Um, you know, turns out at the moment to have been a good call. Most of last season, it looked like a terrible call.
Fifth coach in the Ballon d'Or. Hey,
Yeah. I think I like what I like to say about Maresca is as our players have got better, so has he.
yeah,
And maybe that's just the fairest way to put it. Because he's tactically better, much more so. He will allow more players to do things he wouldn't have allowed.
yeah, completely. Yeah, yeah.
I think so. He's probably learnt to be a Premier League manager. That's the other thing. Let's hope he carries on. So I think Fulham, as long as we focus and we don't do the things that we need to do well, keep doing those things. You'd like to think we can score goals against Fulham. They're dangerous on the break. That's the only thing we have to be careful of.
Yep.
So it'll be breakfast and hopefully breakfast and a win on Saturday.
Yeah, that would be rather lovely, wouldn't it? Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's a good start. Yeah. So,
All right. Let us stop.
Okay. We've had a good natter about everything.
Very good natter. I'm Jonathan Kidd. This is Gary Davison, and this is another episode of Chelsea Blue. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye, everyone.